Hi, and welcome to Infertility Unfiltered, where fertility warriors and fertility experts are joining forces to provide you with tips, tricks, information, and all of the things so that you can take back control of your life and get your baby on board. Hi, I'm Jennifer Robertson, and today we are very blessed to be joined by Lauren Blandon. Now, Lauren is a New York City yoga instructor. She came to the practice in 2002 as a way to reconnect to her mind and body from the dance world. Fertility yoga was born from a background in the Eastern traditions of Ashtanga and Iyengar yoga, and meditation, and her studies in Western medicine and training as a physician's assistant. She uses this training to provide knowledge and support for those who are experiencing difficulty getting pregnant or who are going through fertility treatments. And today we're going to be talking about how yoga can help when trying to get pregnant, the different styles of yoga, and all of the things that you need to get your baby on board. And if you stick around to the end, she's going to tell you how you can get your hands on her online yoga course as well. So thank you so much for joining us, Lauren Blandon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jen.
Now, before we dig into the yoga, I would love to know from you just a little bit about yourself and what got you down this path as well.
Sure. I am a longtime yoga practitioner. I've been practicing for almost 20 years. And several years ago, I went through fertility treatments. And it became apparent to me immediately that I was not going to be able to do my regular style of yoga that I was practicing. It was much too vigorous, much too strenuous. And I was fortunate enough to have this long time practice coupled with my background in science. And I was able to take the two, blend them together to create fertility yoga.
I love that. And that's what we find, we are inspired by our own journey. So I think that's something that's really good because we need to be passionate about what we're doing. So now, this is the question that I'm sure you get asked the most. How can yoga help when you're trying to get pregnant?
So many ways. Most importantly is that it is a stress reducer. So I'm sure, as we all know, as we've all heard, there is a correlation between your cortisol levels, your stress levels, and fertility outcomes. Stress it's a primal instinct, and our body is designed to respond and react to that stress. When we're stressed out, our body thinks that we're being attacked by a wild animal. Now, luckily, we're no longer being attacked by wild animals, but our body doesn't know the difference. And so when we are experiencing any kind of stress, as mediocre as, I don't know, I got in a fight with my partner, or, something more serious, our body elevates cortisol levels, elevates blood pressure, and we have this response. Yoga helps to induce this parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, the feed and breathe portion of our nervous system. And the more that we can induce those aspects, induce those qualities physiologically, our body it's going to send its resources to take care of the other things in our body rather than responding to that stress. So that's what's happening physiologically. Additionally, it's helping to send blood and oxygen to the reproductive organs. It's helping to relax the chest, the neck, the shoulders, the lower back, the hips and groins. These are all part of the parts of the body that are going to expand throughout pregnancy. And then there's this meditation component, allowing ourselves to open up to the softer components of ourselves and to tap into those aspects and those elements of ourselves, which again, if we're stressed out, we kind of tend to push those parts away. And when we start to become more receptive to those parts of ourselves, we begin to create this ability to soften and to observe, what is happening to my experience? What is my relationship to this experience? And that really is the most important thing.
And that's really, it goes into becoming a mum as well, because we need to be in that point where we're nurturing and we're taking care of our body rather than just running and pushing and doing all of those things. I think that's really important. Mm-hmm. And so what effect does the breath have? Because I know that yoga is linking breath to movement. So how important is the breath component with yoga?
Great question. So there's a direct correlation between the breath and the quality of the mind. When we learn how to slow down the breath, to breathe in a slow and methodical manner, it translates into the quality of our thoughts and the quality of our mind. So the more we're able to slow down that breath, we're going to be more calm, we're going to be more stable. And even if you think about it, you know, if you're in a situation where you're really upset and you're crying and you're hyperventilating, you know, what is that breath doing to you? It's only elevating the situation. How many times are you told, you know, take a deep breath, slow down? And when we do this in a continuous manner, over time, it has a big effect.
Absolutely. And so, what are the different types of yoga that you can do? Because, you know, a lot of us, when we see yoga as a form of exercise, and it is, but sometimes we'll link exercise with losing weight and, you know, looking good and all of those different things. So explain to us the different realms of yoga and the benefits that they have on you, you know, at different stages.
There are a variety of different styles of yoga. I think the most popular and well-known styles are Ashtanga yoga, Iyengar yoga, and Vinyasa yoga. I am a student of all of those disciplines. And I found, like I said, that style of yoga was way too vigorous for me while I was going through fertility treatments. Another style of yoga, which I really promote throughout your fertility journey, is a more restorative practice. And this is when you are supported by props. You're holding relatively simple postures for a longer period of time. And what that does is it sends a signal to your brain to chill out, let go. And that is when you have the opportunity to tap into those softer components, listening into the breath, observing your mind, and turning on that parasympathetic response within your body.
So the difference is that, you know, the yoga that you should be doing while you're trying to fall pregnant or while you are pregnant is a lot more gentler on your body and a lot more nurturing on your body.
It's yes to all of everything that you just said, but also we want to take into consideration ovarian torsion. And ovarian torsion is when your ovary twists and turns on itself. It can happen in the actual ovary, or it can also happen in the fallopian tube. So when you're doing deep forward folds, where you're tightening and pulling your belly in, when you're doing deep twists, those kinds of movements can facilitate ovarian torsion. We want to be mindful of this because, well, for a couple different reasons. The only way to alleviate this is through surgery, and we always want to avoid surgery any chance we can. And then when the ovary no longer has blood going to it, that's when it loses its ability to function. So again, we were trying to avoid that from happening. So we want to practice a yoga style that is conducive to the changing needs of our body as our ovaries are expanding throughout that process.
Absolutely. Now, what would you say to the woman who is, and I ask because this is me, a very type A personality and is like, I need to be productive, you know, yoga, it's kind of one of those things that's a little bit airy-fairy, it's a little bit, you know, it's not making me lose weight or anything like that. Like what is the argument for doing this type of yoga?
You're preaching in the choir. Let me tell you, type A right here. I got you. It's one of those things that you have to experience it. And that's probably a really annoying thing to hear. And you know, when you want results, you know, you want the statistics and you want the chart, but to take the time to carve out for you in whichever style that you practice is really a gift to yourself. And like you were saying earlier, the ability to carve that time out for yourself as a parent, you know, to be able to do that before you get to that journey is a stepping stone to the path that you're going toward.
Absolutely. And for me, yoga is, I mean, I do it every single morning. I love it. It is something that gives me peace. And especially when you're on your fertility journey, like you just need a moment. You need something that strips away the thoughts, and you need to turn inward. You need to just look after yourself a little bit more. And for me, yoga absolutely does that. So I'm a big fan.
I'm going to add one more thing to that. So When we practice yoga, one of the things that makes yoga this kind of magical experience that everyone who's practiced it has had a little dose of, is that we are focusing our mind. We're directing our mind. When we focus our mind onto one point, whether that be the breath, whether that be an area in the body, what that does is called ekagrata. It's one pointedness, single pointedness, and that has an effect of calming the mind. So when you take that aspect of itself, the ekagrata, the single pointedness, coupled with your breath, coupled with the physical contortion that you're putting your body in, all of those things together help you to chill out.
And especially as someone who does find it difficult to still their mind in terms of meditation, I find that yoga, as you said, because you're doing all of these things, you don't have that time for your mind to really start wandering. I mean, it can, but it's thinking about all of these other things at the same time. It's thinking about, as you said, the breathing. It's thinking about, the movement. It's thinking about, how your body feels. So there's less room for those thoughts. And on this journey, sometimes we just need to still the thoughts in our mind.
And that's why yoga is such a great bridge to meditation. For some people, it's just not the right time. There's just a lot going on. And the practice of yoga, they create building blocks for you to cultivate that mindfulness, cultivate the skill of quieting and calming your mind. So when the time is right for you to actually sit down on your cushion and meditate, you have that foundation. And you don't get mad at yourself. You don't, beat yourself. Why couldn't I sit? For 2 minutes, I couldn't do it, and then you just get into this loop. And so that's another reason why yoga is just such a great practice. To slow it down, to chill out, and to check in with yourself.
Absolutely. I love everything about that. So how can people get their hands on your online yoga course?
I'm offering a couple different things. I'm offering a monthly online course. We're meeting once a month on Sundays. Each lesson is going to be recorded, and from that lesson you can take it, you can practice it on your own, and we will build upon it the following week. I also just released a streamable video that you can download on your computer. You can practice at any time, and I also do one-on-one coaching. If you would like to learn more about that, you can go to my website at laurenblandonyoga.com, and you can also find me on Instagram at Lauren_Blandon.
Excellent. I love everything about that. I love this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Lauren Blandon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, if you love this interview just as much as I did, please make sure you give it a little love, give it a like, share it to your friends, and make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, because this is just one of many amazing interviews as part of the Infertility Unfiltered series. So thanks for watching.